What's crappin' in fun seekers? Welcome to another tantalizing episode of Grease Belly Garage. This is a 1984 Ford Bronco, and this caught my eye the second I saw it, because in 1984, when I was a little chubby little fat kid, I went to see a movie called Romancing the Stone, and there's two parts of that movie that I'll never forget. One is the mudslide where Michael Douglas lands on top of Kathleen Turner in a very particular fashion. The other part is when they want to escape the little Colombian compound and go use the telephone. They escaped in a Bronco just like this one, called My Little Mule, Pepe, which was essentially this Bronco. There's a few little differences, but same color. Blacked out grille, blacked out chrome, really nice brush guard, nice tires and wheels. The top was taken off, auxiliary gas tanks on the back, blacked out bumpers. It was the coolest thing I ever saw in my life, and I've always wanted one. But that was 41 years ago. Waiting on my friend Richard Lee to come over with a big trailer so we can get this thing loaded up and get it 125 miles home, which in Florida takes like 3.5 hours to drive. And that's the plan for today. My name's Jason, and this is Grease Belly. Well, this isn't Grease Belly Garage, it's that way. Come on. There we go. Come on, baby. Ford had redesigned the F-Series truck in 1980. Now they call them bullnose. You know, there's OBS, which is two stylings after this one. I forget what the middle one's called, Euro nose, something like that. But kind of looks like a bull nose. It was rather striking. So this is a Bronco XLT, which was kind of the loaded model back then. I'm not sure Eddie Bauer was out yet. That may not have been until 85. It's got original Ford style hubcaps with manual locking hubs. This is a one owner truck. This is the original keys with a Ford. I got two sets. They even had the Ford spare tire key, original. Bought at Okeechobee Motor Company. Western style mirrors, they called them. This is the original version. They were more rounded in later years. All the chrome is in good shape. It's really hard to find these without any rust whatsoever, especially in this area in the rocker panels. Got a flat tire. Probably not going to hold any air. Looks pretty bad. It's probably been repainted, it appears. The ones with the sliding windows in the top are fairly rare. I mean, I know that there's a company that makes them aftermarket, but these are pretty unusual, and you can take parts out of the Aerostar sliding windows to put on these. Appears to be the original spare tire. Might have to use this if I can't get that tire to cooperate. It was last registered in 2005. Lots of this fungus mold stuff growing all over the chrome. Now, it was stored inside of a building for years. Got aftermarket Monroe shocks. Doesn't look too rusty anywhere under there. Looks like an old body repair right there. And then on the roof is more of the same. Now, I am a huge fan of blue interiors. That's a fun fact for you. Usually the dash pad is totally destroyed on these, and this one appears to be perfect. Fairly loaded model, but it does not have power windows and locks, which I feel is a good thing. Odometer says 32, and I'm going to assume it's 132 because it doesn't look too ragged and worn out. There's the air cleaner, manual transfer case shifter, and when these Fords had tilt wheel, you had not a separate lever, but this one pushed forward. This one does not have tilt wheel. And no cruise control either. That's where your butt cheeks go across the seat and like that, and it tears up your seat. And that happens to all kinds of cars. It's got some kind of a knobular here that does something. I have no idea what that does. Got dual armrests. So you got an armrest in the door, an armrest here, and an armrest on both sides of the seat. Looks like that back seat has been folded down for quite a while. hard for me to get in here and show you further, but got to see if that back window works. Missing the latch on the console, that was actually pretty common. There's a rear glass switch right by the AC controls. It's got AC, AM, FM radio. I don't think it's got any kind of cassette. Nope, not at all. Digital clock. And it looks like I said, I think I can show you the back better from the other side. The headliner, I don't know. It might have some rust through on this roof, but at the bare minimum, the headliner's got some bubbles in it. Looks like the top has never been off of this one. Usually you can tell because the trim will be all mangled-like, not fitting quite right, but that actually looks pretty good, and the inside of this top is fantastic. Now, a lot of times your passenger door locks will be really sticky like this one because it doesn't get used as much. So to kind of help a little bit with that, I just kind of put a little spit right on the key. These are aluminum keys too, so they're definitely original. God, that helped already. Look at that. And then you can lube the mechanicals inside the door. A vinyl poncho. I'm sure that's not my size. Now, XLT door panels they had matte pockets on the bottom. This is kind of like the Silverado version of a Ford as compared to a Chevy. Got a couple of shop manuals. That's either a good sign or a bad sign. This passenger seat is great. Carpet looks pretty good. Got a little bit of stuff to vacuum up. This looks like a little bit of moisture here. That's probably not so good. Got a, little rat's nest it looks like in here. So that's probably something from the innards of the dash or the carpet. Yeah, the mices have been eating on this, making their house. Oh, this is a CPR mask. This is a mouthpiece in case you want to do CPR on somebody. You keep this on there and you don't have to really, go mouth to mouth with them. You can just use this mask. This seat probably folds up like that. Oh yeah, look. And then it folds up like that. Look at that. It's like brand new. Unreal. A little moldy in here, but it's really in pretty good shape overall. The seat's never going to latch if you got hats on the latch, Jason. See that? Okeechobee County Fire Rescue. There's the antenna. There's a really strange way to open these hoods that I remember from when I was a kid. There's like a little beveled area somewhere that you push down. There it is. There it goes. This little beveled right here that you push. Okay, this is there's an air conditioning sticker. This is a 5.8 liter. That's going to be a 351. Out of respect for the family, I'm not going to try to get it running here on the property. The house has been sold, and I probably need to get this thing loaded up and just skedaddle and get it running at home. But it won't hurt to do a couple of things while it's on the trailer ride. I'll start out by checking the oil, see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it's got oil. It's definitely old, but it's there. So when you store a car with no air cleaner and the carburetor is open like that, you can get moisture down into the cylinders, and because this engine is stopped at a very particular spot right now, that is absolutely bone dry, the best I can tell. Underneath the hood looks pretty good. On the firewall it says 9/26/83. That's probably the assembly date or manufacture date of this Bronco, I would suspect. And just so you know, when you use a step like this, they all have a weight rating. I can personally guarantee you they're all underrated. Trust me. Let me look down in the flapper first. See if the linkage is loose. That'll give a good indication. No, it's locked up. I'm gonna have to hope for the best here. Well, this has oil in it, so maybe I'll pour a little bit of this on the linkage. There we go. And we'll just pour a bunch down in the throat. There. We'll let that ooze down into the cracks and crevices and cylinders. See if I got some lubricating oil and lubricate everything under here that needs to move. And Richard Lee just arrived with his big monster trailer, which is actually really nice. It's got a really nice winch and everything on it.
What's that?
You got here kind of quick. Took me 3 hours to get here.
Why?
Fog. When I got here, I walked up to the Bronco, Rich.
Yeah.
There was a guy on the other side hanging out, just sitting there. Kind of creeped me out. And I walked over there and looked, and he was putting glitter on his testicles.
Whatever.
Pretty nuts, right? Yeah, this trailer here is quite the setup. I think we're gonna go ahead and try to pull it up without dealing with this tire, because, well, it just ain't happening. I don't think the spare is all that much better. So I may just pop that hubcap off so we don't mess that up. But it'll probably be all right just getting up on the trailer, I think. Part of the deal here with this thing was I also got this Scag lawnmower out of this barn. I've had several of these. They're some of the best lawnmowers I've ever seen. So I gotta get this thing fired up and get it out of here too. Got my no-co and override mode. You'll have to be patient with me today, Rich, okay?
Why?
Because I had this really vivid dream last night. This one, I had this realistic dream that I was a muffler, okay?
That you were what?
I was a muffler. So when I woke up this morning, I was exhausted. No? You don't like that one either? I just got to figure out how to get off this trailer without killing myself. How far off the ground am I? 4 feet?
Like 8 inches on the...
That's all. The guy that was a proud owner of this Bronco is no longer with us, but he was a retired fire medic, basically. And I think he ascended to the level of a chief, fire chief, in the middle of Florida here. And I just want to say, God bless your family, sir. Thank you for your service, and Godspeed to you. I'm going to take care of this Bronco and put it back on the road so you can check it out. Well, not every square inch of Florida is covered by a bunch of tourists that can't drive. This is really cool out here. It even looks like a mountain range in the distance, but it's not. I think it's just probably phosphate mines or something. But it looks cool. Kind of reminds me of Wyoming or somewhere out there, South Dakota, something. About 3 months later, the Bronco finally made it inside the official headquarters of Grease Belly Garage, and I've also successfully plugged in my microphone. So this should go a little bit better. It's a little tight in here. I got all kinds of stuff going on everywhere with all this junk. I need to get that El Camino out of here. I actually picked out some nice tires from a local taco shop, hair salon, whatever. And they showed me off-road tires. I went back and picked them up. These were on it. And I didn't have time to fight with them, so I got street tires made in China. That's real good. I also forgot to point out in the first video that when I name this Bronco, I'm going to have to pick myself out a nice female name because there's remnants of a bra here. And I don't have the hood part, but the side parts are still intact. I'm really looking forward to pulling that back to see, because I think it's been on there forever, to see what the paint looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to commence on getting this thing running. And I want to give you guys a little bit of insight on this thing. I've always wanted one of these, like seriously wanted one. So I'm going to try to make this a driver, and I hope that's possible. Let's get started here. In the previous segment of this video, I did pour some fuel oil mix down the carburetor throat. And the reason that I did that is because I knew I wouldn't get to this for a while. And that I hope what happens, what is that? There's a whole bunch of oil down in here. Looks like, oh, congealed crap. Now where is that from? That's weird. You don't see that every day. So yeah, I put the fuel and oil mix down the carburetor. I just opened up this choke valve here, poured it down in there, and the hope is that the fuel oil mix will run down into whatever open valves were open, because this truck was unfortunately stored with no air cleaner on it. It was inside most of the time until about the last year. So in Florida, humidity can get down in there and cause all kinds of problems. So I've been thinking about this and thinking about this and thinking about this. I think because it's been stored inside for so long, I think I'm gonna just put a battery in it and just start waylaying on the key, checking all the electrical devices and seeing what's going on, and go from there. When a car typically is 25 years old or older, it's okay to delete all the crap out of here, and this probably is going to happen on this at some point, and put a different intake carburetor on it, get rid of all this stuff. I see the air conditioner has been converted to 134A. I'm sure it's probably empty, but I'll get that fixed. That's my main talent, actually, is air conditioning. So I think we're just going to go right for the jugular and jam a battery in here. Usually the newer the car, the less harm it is to do that. I've always noticed that anything older than like 75 or so is kind of a good idea to spin the engine over, unless you know the way it was stored. Because I mean, let's face it, if it's locked up, it's locked up. You just throw a battery in it, it doesn't turn over, then you can bust out all the tools and bust your knuckles down there trying to turn the crank or the flywheel underneath or whatever you want to do. But I think because this is a one-owner vehicle and it was stored in that garage out there in Sebring, Florida for so long, I think I'm just going to see what it's going to do. I've already checked all the fluids. I remember the oil was good. This battery spent half the day trying to start the El Camino. Let's put our positive on. And then let's just touch the negative, and there's no sparks. That's good. Okay. First time we've had power since 2005, according to her. So let's just dive right in and see if anything happens. Oh, we got a dome light. Headlights? Yep, we got headlights. Horn? No, no horn. I guess we could turn the key on. Try the radio. Oh yeah, we got radio. How about the air conditioning fan? Nope. How about the all-important rear window? Oh. All right, keep your eyes on the rear window. Nope. Oh, there it goes. Oh, wow. Awesome. Yeah, mess around and break it, Jason. I'm gonna lubricate that before I mess with it anymore, but at least it made some progress. Let's see if we got any starter action happening. Nope. Nothing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't. Let's go check that solenoid. I'm so used to using air conditioning contactors, and I forgot I actually have one of these starter switches. Nothing. I think I'm just gonna save myself some grief and go straight for a solenoid. Okay, we've got some progress. Remember I told you guys, maybe in one of my other videos, sometimes you just have to keep on keeping on. Well, here's my problem. I put it down in neutral, and I just kept turning this ignition switch. It turned over like twice. All right, time for new terminals. Okay, not only are these the world's crappiest style of battery terminals, but I think I found that one in the trash or laying in the road. This one's actually brand new. Got them all good and tight. Hopefully this will make an improvement. Let's see. Nothing. Doesn't seem like I have any gauges. And we definitely have some kind of a wiring problem. I wonder if this thing was underwater and I wasn't told about it. Because this feels really super duper sticky. Well, I don't know what happened, but I reached underneath here and pushed on something, which I believe was the ignition switch, and I got this. So I think what I'll do is mess with the harness on the column as I'm turning the key. There it goes. Now let's do it in park. Wonder if this is a neutral safety switch. Okay, it's not turning over too quick, and I don't want to screw things up. Let's see if the battery terminals they're not extremely warm. Yeah, I think we just got a sticky ignition switch down on the steering column, or a neutral safety switch. Got a battery charger on this overnight. Let it charge up so it's really strong. I'll come out here tomorrow and crank on her some more. I know the engine's not locked up. That's good. I hear things squeaking. That's not good. That carburetor is probably gonna give me some fits. I'm gonna go ahead while I'm out here, because the curiosity is killing me. I'm gonna see if this thing will kick off with some carb cleaner or something, because I just can't stand it, you know? All right. That ought to be enough to explode. Oh yeah. Oh, you variable Venturi carburetor. Uh-oh. The linkage is stuck too. I better make sure it's not stuck to the floor. There we go. All right, I just want to hear it fire one more time. Get some oil circulating. Then I'll lubricate everything I can possibly get to. Oh, a little backfire. All right, we'll let everything calm down. I'll lubricate everything really good. Okay, thanks to my friend Croyle here, I've got the gas linkage all lubed up really good now. And I noticed underneath here there's a gaping hole in the firewall, and I don't know why. Looks like there's something running through there maybe, or there's supposed to be a plug there. Probably ought to lubricate the brake pedal stuff too. When you're too fat to lean over to look for things to lube, just spray this stuff everywhere. Well, the brake pedal, I think we got brakes too. That is much, much better. So since I did all that, we might as well try one more time, right? Turn it over strong now. Okay, we'll let her charge up good. I promise this time I'm not coming back. It's a new day in the garage here. Battery percolating all night long. Should be good to go. I did a little bit more checking under the hood, and I've decided that I'm just going to send it. And I'm going to do that by, I'm going to take a big whiff of the gas tank. I'm going to put some of this stuff down in there because every single fuel system in the history of automobiles, in my opinion, will eventually absorb some kind of liquid. Water. I've got two cats here now. I got one over here that I think might be pregnant because she gripes a lot. That guy over there eats like a pig. He's kind of feral, but he comes up to me now and just looks at me. He's really cool. I've named him Nitro. I had no idea this had a locking gas cap. Crap. But there's a key here that says fuel. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Sometimes you gotta drill them. Oh, it worked. Wow. Oh yeah, that's nasty stuff. But what I'm gonna do, I'm not even gonna look in this tank. I don't think it leaks. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm gonna put some fresh non-Obama gas in there. And why is this white on the back? You know what? I'm starting to think this thing was originally white. I think it was. Because I've got white on the other side too, and there's white right here. Oh yeah, this was a white Bronco with blue interior. I actually like that better. So what color was the top? It was also white. Huh. I would have never thought that. Of course, I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just wanted a Bronco. So I would really like it if this was white with blue interior. That's cool. I'm not going to change it back, but it would have been cool. What doesn't make any sense, though, is it's all painted under the hood, like factory. So why is it white back here? Was it two-tone blue and white? Maybe that was it. I'm going to have to do some more investigating. Maybe it was white in the middle, blue on top. Yeah, there was already fuel in the tank, and it's probably really old and gross, so this ought to take care of about 1% of that. This is the advantage of having a belly, by the way. Little mustard bottle there. Some kind of yellow gas in it. And I don't know how to fill the bowl in this thing because I don't see a vent tube unless that's one on top. Let's find out. The best way to find out is to try to put gas in a hole, I guess. I reckon that's a vent tube. And then I'll put a little bit of actual gas down in the carburetor this time. Now let's see what happens when I try to fire it up. Maybe it'll run long enough to get some fuel pumping from the tank. And hopefully it'll still turn over if my lube trick did the trick last night. Apparently so. And now it won't do it again. Ain't that something? Huh. I guess I'm gonna have to probably figure out the ignition switch. That's probably, seems like that's probably what it might be. It's the most logical thing at this point. But just in case, I'm gonna try it a few more times without messing with that. See what happens. A little bit longer that time. Okay, it's not the ignition switch because it did run long that time. Definitely a carburation fuel supply problem. I guess it might be one of those dreaded times to take the fuel inlet off of the carburetor, which is right here. And that looks dreadful to do. There ain't no telling where the gas pump is on this thing. And another kind of sure way to figure that out is to disconnect this and put an electric fuel pump on it and see if it runs on the electric pump. Then you can find out what a piece of junk that variable Venturi carburetor is. I've noticed in other Fords in the past, it's taken a very long time for the fuel system to start cooperating. So I think what I'm going to do this time is put my cheater switch on, turn the ignition switch on, and then kind of keep it fed from out here. And maybe that fuel pump will start to kick in and pull its own weight. Now this should work. Is this switch no good? You gotta be kidding me. I guess this thing is no good anymore, and I don't have my other one. Okay, fun seekers, I think I'm gonna wrap this video here on this because I don't like these videos getting way too long. My battery's obviously going dead. My brow is sweating. My card's almost full. But I wanted to show you a couple things in closing on the first step of the Bronco here. This is what I was talking about. You had white here on the top. This, I can't find any traces anywhere of it being non-original paint, but here, inside the gas tank lid, right here, and some little places like right here, I believe this was dark blue, white, dark blue, and the top was white. Now, if that's the case, I'm actually elated by that because I think that would actually look a little bit nicer, even though it won't go with my Romancing the Stone theme at all. I like white, and there's other signs where it's starting to pop through right there too. And it looks like somebody did a fairly good job. It could have been done because, well, it also means this was probably white. Oh yeah, look at that. White, white. Up here, no. Just faded original paint. So in the next video, I'm going to get it running. Good. That also explains why the top is looking kind of white on top. The top's looking white on top. Say that 3 times fast. Get this window lubed up, check what's in the back. Hopefully I'll have more room out here as well. I'm going to order some parts for this and try to find some better tires and wheels. Make this thing look super snazzy since I can't really do my Romancing the Stone theme with the paint, at least initially. Take the bra off, see what it's got under the bra. It's already 1,000,000 degrees in Florida, and it's only like the middle of May. It's hot out here. I'm going to shut my door and put this air conditioning system on and let it recirculate all the carbon monoxide that's in here now. And I appreciate you guys watching. Drop comments down below about bullnose Broncos, variable Venturi carburetors, EEC4, whatever you want. Tell me you don't like me. I don't care. So until then, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll most definitely catch you on the flip side.
Thanks for tuning in, fun seekers. Make sure you tune in again.